Hello, I'm Mark Kirby, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Liberty Mutual Insurance. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to talk to you today about something that is important to me, both personally as well as professionally. You know, there is something that is never very far from all of our thoughts. In fact, it's probably the reason that you're here today or watching this, and that is simply success. How can we be more successful? This is my brother running his 7th marathon. And as the younger sibling, I was always competing with him. And in marathons, he's got me beat by 7. You'd think he'd stop and give me a chance to catch up, but he's not. He's still working and still improving. And we all want to improve. Of course, our goals are not only for ourselves. We want our teams, our businesses, and our organizations to be more successful. And beyond that, for the planet too, and for future generations, we want to move humanity forward and leave the world a little bit better than we found it. You see, success and the desire for more success is alive within us. And we have seen great success from technology. Apple, they've changed completely 2 industries, both the music industry as well as the telephone industry, and as a result have become the most valuable company ever. Airbnb, they're only an 8-year-old company, and yet they're already one of the world's largest hoteliers. And we're all familiar with Google and Facebook, and there's many others. The list goes on and on. For many of us, we're trying to understand what these companies are doing so that we can replicate their success. And so there are thousands and thousands of articles and books and magazines written about success, how to improve our performance. For ourselves, for our teams, for our businesses and our organizations. And yet, there is this secret key, a secret that unlocks a pathway to even greater success than we can imagine. It is a key that has always been available to us, even though we do not often use it. And it is simple. In fact, you might even think it's too simple. The key is this: a deep human connection and commitment to each other. We find it difficult to trust in this because it is difficult to trust in others, difficult in our relationships and in our families, and even more difficult in our businesses and our companies. So why am I talking to you about this? I was raised in Botswana, Africa, on a chicken farm. My parents' hope for me was that I would become a farmer and carry on the family business. I, however, was always tinkering with technology. The first watch that my parents bought me, I took apart, much to their horror. And they bought me a ZX Spectrum. And my mom found that she was always calling me to come to dinner. Mark, you're late. Get off the computer. I couldn't come to dinner. I was waiting the 5 minutes that it took to download 48K off of a cassette tape. And so from an early age, technology has always been within me. And over the years, I built a career based on applying technology to generate value, to help organizations, and to build businesses. And what I have learned is that success doesn't come from technical expertise. What I have learned is that success comes from people, human creativity, which we unlock through our connection and our support for others. And it is a critical time for companies to do exactly this. I'm fortunate to work for a very large and successful company. As an insurer, our business is based on understanding and managing risk. And do you know what the biggest risk is today for us? And the biggest risk for most companies? It's that we fail to change and reinvent ourselves. This is our biggest risk because we are in an era of massive disruption. Disruption of businesses and entire industries. A history of the S&P 500 tells this story. At the current rate, 3/4 of the companies in the S&P 500 will be replaced in the next 12 years. As an example, even though this year we will take more photographs than have ever been taken on Earth, the world's best-known photography brand is bankrupt. They had the best digital technology, but they failed to move it forward, and they're gone now. And for my company, this same transformation is vital because of this, the future of cars. We are all headed to an era of autonomous vehicles, and it's exciting for society, but less exciting for insurance companies. For us, it cannot be business as usual. The risk for us, the risk for all companies, is that we don't transform, that we become like Kodak. You see, to be successful, you must have execution and creativity. Most companies are pretty good at execution, but they're not yet good at unlocking creativity. And it is creativity that is leading to technology's success. And it's changing every industry. The music industry, videos, books, and transportation. Creativity. We all have it. And even if you don't express it very much right now, you used to. You used to be fun and creative. Unfortunately, in many companies, we are not encouraged or even allowed to be creative. And yet, everything that we want to accomplish as teams, as organizations, as businesses, and as societies is powered by this, what Liz Ryan calls human mojo. It is all powered by people, by what is inside of us. And that is the secret. Find technology that is successful, and people will describe it with words like love and awesome and beautiful. Find companies that are successful, and people will describe them with words like passion and inspiration and creativity. These are all human things. You see, we all understand that successful products and services are those that people love. What we don't fully step into is loving and enabling people as a path to achieving that success. In business, we are often uncomfortable with the vulnerability that comes from these words. Uncomfortable because they are too soft, not businessy enough. And trusting deeply is risky. And for me too. I'm uncomfortable being vulnerable. I used to only approach my work with words like viable and feasible. What is our technical architecture? What is our business case? I didn't ask, will people love it? Is it fun? Is it beautiful? You see, the real problem is that I only viewed myself and others as some bundle of skills, experience, and expertise. I didn't view myself or others as a whole person, with skills and expertise, yes, but also complete with passion and potential, as well as limitation and flaws. As whole people, we are all imperfect, and yet still capable of great success. And now, thankfully, my perspective is entirely different. And I wish I had understood this many years earlier in my career. I now see that my success will come mostly from helping people be who they are, to be their authentic selves at work, flaws and all. You see, we need creativity, and we can overcome our imperfections with teamwork. And to be creative, people must be supported. To unlock creativity, we need to provide people with an environment that feels safe, an environment where they can experiment, look beyond what is to what might become, and feel safe enough to try and possibly fail. An environment where they don't feel isolated, where they can support each other. The trick is to eliminate fear. And that's hard, because fear does work a little. Trust me, I have 2 teenagers, so I know that fear works. Hannah, Parker, clean up your room or else, and then you can insert some fearful threat. You see, we have invested and we have built companies around fear because it works a little. But there is something much more powerful to build companies around, and that is love and trust and teamwork. And this all taught to us by a film renowned for its business insight. Remember Monsters, Inc.? Their world was fueled by fear, screams of children, until they found that laughter and joy could provide much greater success. And you know what? Most successful companies, most successful businesses do this to a degree. They are respectful and kind and encouraging, but they also don't turn that key far enough. I've called the secret a deep connection, because it is only by turning it fully that we unlock the massive reservoir that is the potential of our people. We can get some success from fear, and maybe even some creativity too. But like Sully discovered, if you want to blow the barn doors off, start believing in everyone. Start encouraging everyone. And so when I share this perspective, people ask me, what evidence do I have that this works? Well, first of all, there's a massive and increasing amount of research that you'll quickly discover. A lot of it on TED, actually. I'd recommend you start with some of these books. But the real evidence for me is what I see coming alive in our company as we're learning about this. A couple of examples. There's one we call MyHub, and this is an application focused on using technology to make our people's daily lives simpler and faster. We're working to give our people the most precious commodity that they have, their own time. Using creativity and iteration, we've started a new tool that our people are already describing with the one word we were looking for. We love it. And another example is Ignite. This is a company-wide event where we bring together people to work on our key challenges, but also their own ideas and suggestions. We work in self-forming teams. The whole event is designed to be fun and creative and supportive. And people volunteer because they want to learn, they want to make a difference, and they want to help their team coworkers. From Ignite, we're already seeing some of our ideas turn into the most exciting projects that we have. So these are tangible results, but it's also about the intangible. It's about driving to work and feeling excited about what you're working on, and who you're working with. So what do I suggest you do? I'd encourage you to love your people. Explore this idea for yourself. Commit and recommit to turning that secret key all the way. The most important thing that we can do as leaders is to create an environment where people can thrive. Create an environment that expresses people and their creativity. Create an environment where people don't put themselves on a shelf when they come to work. Do this, and you'll be wildly successful. Thank you.